or afternoon, whatever it is. This is Karl Rose recording from Bedford, Pennsylvania. This is going to be my generic intro from now on because of my situation. I just have to sneak around and do videos from now on because of the things. Anyway, we're going to get into the video right after this. Good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose, recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. And I just want to talk a little bit today about the Detroit Lions. First of all, let me just throw in a prediction video, or a prediction for next week against the Patriots. It's going to be an outrageous score, but I know it's not going to happen, but Patriots 150, Lions nothing. That's what I say. We know that's not going to happen, but they're going to get trounced. I just want to give this outrageous score just with my frustration of the Lions. Now, they did show some improvement against the 49ers, but they need to do more than that. My biggest question is it time for a regime change, ownership change in Detroit? And I say yes. A lot of people are pointing the finger at Matt Patricia, pointing the finger at Matthew Stafford, but I am pointing the finger at both Jim Bob Cooter and Pastrami. I can't pronounce the defensive coordinator's last name. Why in the hell Patricia brought in this old bumbling, fumbling old man who makes me want Gunther Cunningham back? That's pretty bad. But the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator got to go. But the point I'm making is everything starts at the top. When Martha Ford came out a few years ago and said she was going to do everything and make all these changes, well, yeah, that was the step in the right direction. But we have the problem here. I believe that the whole problem with the Lions in general, there's a general problem with all sports teams in general, but that's for another video. I will talk about each individual team on different videos. I mean, the Tiger season is winding down, thankfully. But anyway, that's off track. Let me get back onto Martha Ford. Okay, bringing in Bob Quinn. Okay, so that's great. But what we have is they're going into a New England Patriots style, which is fine and dandy. But the problem is, I believe, and if you go back before Quinn, you go back to Mayhew, you go back to Millen, it all starts to one thing: Martha Ford. I honestly believe that Bob Quinn and even some of these previous general managers, I believe they wanted to do certain things a certain way, but they're being blocked. They're being blocked by the ownership. So how in the hell can the Lions be good when the general managers cannot do their job? Martha Ford has got some sort of mind block in her pea brain. And apparently, and I honestly believe that Bob Quinn wants to make certain picks, but no, they want to pick. They've got to be, the personality's got to be right. This has got to be right. In order to win the NFC North, you got to play hard-nosed football. You got to grind it into the ground, run it into the ground, and stop the run on defense. I mean, just smash-mouth football. Lions are not smash-mouth football. For whatever reason, they want these mamby-pamby people, and Stafford's one of them. Now, I do have two quick solutions to that I'll get to at the end of that. And I think the Lions, if they do these two things this week, I'm talking about this week, it will just change the entire locker room. It would change their entire season. It certainly won't get them to the Super Bowl. It'll probably get them to the playoffs, but two things, and trust me, everybody would be talking if they did it, but the Fords are the Fords, and they will never do anything because it makes sense. They don't do anything that makes sense. And that's the thing. If Martha Ford were to allow Bob Quinn more flexibility in who he picks, more flexibility in the direction they want to go, then you would see the Lions actually win the division and probably win a playoff game. But until the Lions get new ownership, they are going nowhere. They're going to go nowhere fast. The Bears are going to win the division big time. The Bears will win the division. Lions will they go 0-16? Probably not. But I don't expect them to win very, very much at all. Now here's the thing. You've got Blunt, what I saw in the 49ers game, I actually saw on some of their running plays, I actually saw that the offensive line actually pushed forward. Okay, and Kerryon Johnson, just a little sliver, and Glasgow had made just a little bit, just enough room for Kerryon Johnson just to go whoop, and get a first down. They needed to do that 3 or 4 times in a row. You know, that's what they need to do. Run the ball. Give Kerryon Johnson 20 carries. Give Blunt 20 carries. And I know Blunt is, he's got to be slapping Cooter upside the head. 20 carries, 20 touches for Kerryon Johnson, 20 touches for LeGarrette Blunt, and you're going to see a different Lion team. 50 plus passes a game. It's not going to win you games. It's going to get Matt Stafford killed. 18 rushing attempts. You will never have a 100-yard rusher. Only 18 rush attempts in a game. You would have to get, let's see, that would be 6. You'd have to average over 6 yards a carry, or right around 6 yards a carry, and Blunt was doing about 4. So give him the ball more, and you will get that, and that will keep the defense rested. When they get back on there, they can do their job. That's what they need to do. Now, I don't want this to be a long-winded video. I was watching the Rams game. I was flipping back and forth between the Lions and the Rams. I was enjoying watching the Rams because I grew up, and as I said in another video, so I'm going to touch on this a little bit, and we'll get back to the Lions. But the Rams and the Jaguars, okay, I believe the Rams are the best team in the NFC right now, and I think they're going to take it all the way to the Super Bowl, and I hope so. I'm pulling for the Rams. Lived most of my life in the suburbs of LA. So, as I said in another video, I remember Roman Gabriel, I remember the fearsome foursome, blah, blah, blah. I said all that. I repeated all that. So it's nice to see them. So I'm actually pulling for them. Let's hope the Rams do good. Let them put the 49ers in their place. Looks like Seattle's going down. Arizona's not going anywhere, so that's good. So I'm pulling for them. But realistically, the Lions need, in order for them to change their culture, it's got to start at the top. And even Steve Young said that a couple years ago in a Sunday night game. It wasn't a Lions game, but it was a different game. But Steve Young said, basically said and this, I think Quinn was recently installed, but he said the same thing. He said, if the top echelon doesn't change, then nothing's going to change, and he is absolutely right. So Martha Ford needs to let loose a little bit, give Bob Quinn more control over what he's doing, and you will see a change. But until that happens, you won't. Now, I'm one of these people who hate the kneeling and all that, but I don't own any Nikes or anything like that. And even if I did have these $100 shoes, I wouldn't be stupid enough to go burn it. What I do is I wait for a little bit. I never watch the beginning part of the games anyway. I always wait till all the anthem and all that is over with, and then I start watching the game. I'm interested in the football game. Um, uh, but whatever. I don't agree with the kneeling, but whatever. You know, it's just, here's my point. The Lions have the lawyers. They have the money. If they're smart, they would get rid of, dump Matt Castle, and they would get rid of Nevin Lawson. Okay, here's why. They get their lawyers. They talk to Colin Kaepernick, and they get him. See, no team can take him legally because he's still suing the NFL. So if the Fords were smart, which they're not, because they would never do anything like this, get their lawyers, high-priced lawyers, talk to Kaepernick's lawyer, say, look, you drop your suit with the NFL, we will put you in as a backup, and send notice to Matt Stafford saying, look, we're bringing in Colin Kaepernick. You either play good, and if you're throwing these lousy-ass passes, and you're off target, you're sitting down, we're putting Colin Kaepernick, and even if he has to run, use his legs to get the first down, we'll have him in there. Do that. And then, and in addition, but the thing is, Kaepernick has got to drop his lawsuit on the NFL. So have the lawyers get together, hammer out a deal, say, look, okay, and I know they're going to want a lot of money. Ford's going to afford that. The thing is, Matt Stafford is so used to not having any threat. He needs a firecracker. He needs a bomb, a firecracker stuck up his butt and lit to get him going, because he's got it too cushy. He needs somebody. He needs to be looking over his shoulder. He needs to play the full 60 minutes, and he needs to play good the full 60 minutes. Otherwise, he's sitting on the bench. Period. That's what they need to do. Colin Kaepernick could be the guy to do that. And in addition, if they get him to do that, then part of the thing is say, hey, okay, get his friend Eric Reed in there. Okay, get rid of this Nevin Lawson garbage. Have Reed in there on the back end of the defense, and then have Colin as a backup to keep Matthew Stafford on his way. Trust me, the locker room, and this would just make all kinds of news. It would be the biggest topic in the NFL, but the Fords are stupid. They would never do that. Kaepernick as a backup and Reed in the secondary, and trust me, that this would not take them to the Super Bowl. It would probably might get them to they would have to do this right away. If they want to correct their season, they could do something like this, and that could get them at least to the playoffs, and maybe even win a playoff game. But this is what they need to do. Stafford needs a firecracker up his butt and lit to get him playing. He needs to be looking over his shoulder for his job security. Period. And Matt Castle and that's the thing. It's why they've been so miserable. Who's been Matt Stafford's backups? Orlovsky, who's an idiot, runs out of the end zone. That's Caldwell's fault for all those years keeping him. They have never had anybody to seriously threaten Matt Stafford's position. And he has just got to play better. And he needs to have that inspiration. Colin Kaepernick will put that in there. That would make him play the full 60 minutes, and trust me, you would see a different Lions team. Anyway, and then Reed in the background. Get rid of Lawson. Put in Reed there in the back. Hey, it's not perfect, but it would be a lot better than it is now. Again, will the Lions go 0-16? Probably not. But I'm going to predict them to lose every single week, and I'm going to predict really outrageous scores. Again, 150 for the Patriots, 0 for the Lions. That's my prediction. I know that won't happen, but that's just how I feel about it. But they can do a couple of things. They've just But the Fords have got to just be smarter owners, and it's time for them to go. Seriously, if there was a way to do it, I don't know how to do it. If I was living in the Detroit city, I would I would get together with a bunch of Detroit YouTubers or something to see if we could make a voice or something and say, hey, let's run the Fords out of town. They need, uh, something has got to be done. Something has got to be done. Because this is going nowhere. It's going nowhere fast. Um, and it's getting really hard to watch. Anyway, well, that's it. I just wanted to say what I had to say, and you'll get my other ridiculous prediction next week after the Lions lose the Patriots. So we'll talk to you then.